Hi, this is Leah with Scott Leroy Marketing, and in today's tip video, I'm going to show you the best practices for submitting your loop for review and also submitting to Green Sheet. Alright, so the best thing to do, of course, will be go into your .loop account, and you can get into your .loop account two ways. First of all, by going to .loop.com is certainly one option that you can take advantage of. But the best practice to getting into your .loop account is actually by logging into myKW.kw.com, which you'll see on the top of my URL bar there. So again, that's myKW.kw.com specifically to log in. And from here, you'll notice it says Start My Transactions on this top center E-Edge control panel box. So if you click Start My Transactions here, it will take you directly into your .loop account, typically without further passwords, so that is usually the best way to access your .loop account right away. Okay, one less password to remember is always a good thing. Now when you get into your .loop account, you'll simply need to click into your loop to submit that for review. Now once you're in your loop, right, so your admin typically can see all of your loops in your account, and you can see that by looking at the people section here. You'll always see the admin in your loop, which is a good thing. Okay, you want to see that. It shows you're connected to your market center. However, your admin and your market center typically do not look at your loops since they have so many loops in your market center. So the best way for them to submit that to your admin so they can check over your loop to do compliance review on that, and typically that entails checking to make sure you have every form in your loops needed to make sure you're in compliance for that transaction, making sure all signatures are on every form, okay, and maybe a little bit more depending on your market center. So you will want to be submitting your loop for review. First of all, I'll go ahead and show you how to do that, and then we'll talk a little bit about when you'll want to submit for review. So first of all, you'll notice on the top right of your loop, it does say submit for review. So all you'll need to do once you're ready to submit your loop for review is simply click on submit for review in red on the top right of your loop here. When you do that, you may have several folders within your loop, right? So you'll just need to check the folder that you would like to submit for review here. And on the right-hand side, you'll just need to select a type. So where it says select type, go ahead and click there, and you'll need to select if that is a buying or a listing that you're submitting for review. Now, you will note that you can also submit a note to your office staff on why you're submitting for review. This isn't always necessary to put a note there, but if you are submitting for review to include a missing document that they said that you were missing, it might be good to go ahead and say that, hey, I'm submitting my fully signed residential property disclosure for your review so that they can check on that right away. All right, and don't do this right now, okay? Your office staff won't thank me if they get a bunch of loops that aren't ready to be submitted for review, but you can click this big red submit button right here to submit that over to your office right away. All right, and that is all the steps it takes to go ahead and submit for review. If you don't already have the office address in your loop here, it may also, I mentioned the property address. If you don't already have the property address entered into the loop, it may prompt you for that information as well to submit that for review, so that's totally normal as well. So once you click submit, that will send over to your office staff so they can check on your loop right away. Now let's talk a little bit about when you'll want to submit your loop for review. So this is a little different for each market center, and so make sure you do check in with your office staff to see what their policy is about when they would like for you to submit for review. Okay, they may also have checklists for you that outline all the forms that you need to be submitting for review within each stage as well. So definitely check in with your office staff. They'll let you know the policy that they use in your office. Typically though, just a general outline of that to give you an idea. So if you are representing the seller, if this is a listing that you are selling here, you will want to submit for review generally 3 times. Okay, you'll want to submit for review first time when the listing goes live on the MLS with all the listing documents, such as your exclusive listing agreement, maybe the property disclosures signed by the seller, square footage, and so forth. Again, your office staff may have a checklist for you to include all the forms that they require to approve your listing. So after submitting for review the first time for when the listing goes live, you'll want to submit a second time when the listing goes under contract. And you'll want to include all of your contract documents as well for that stage. So that will be the fully executed offer to purchase, your residential property disclosures signed by both parties, and any other forms that go along with the offer. Now, typically at that stage, you'll also want to submit a green sheet, and I'll be showing you in just a moment here where to go to submit a green sheet. And typically, again, you'll submit a green sheet when the property goes under contract. If you're not familiar with what a green sheet is, that is basically telling your office how you are getting paid. So if you are splitting the transaction with another agent in your office, or maybe there's an outside referral on the transaction, the green sheet will detail that for your office so they know how to prepare your commission check. And last but not least, you will submit for a third time on your listing when the property closes. Yay, congrats. And you will want to submit all your closing documents with that, including maybe the closing disclosure, a termite letter, and any other paperwork that goes along with your closing. Okay. So again, that's 3 times if it is your listing, and if you are representing the buyer, you will be submitting for review twice. Once when the property goes under contract, again, that's when you'll want to submit a green sheet typically, and a second time when the property closes with all your closing documents. Again, that is just a general outline. It is slightly different for each office depending on their policies. So please feel free to check in with your office staff to see what information they can provide for you on that. Now, last thing I'd like to go over in this tip video is where to go to access your green sheet. So to access your green sheet, it is often great to submit a green sheet from your .loop account because it does populate a lot of the information from your loop onto the green sheet, saves you a little bit of time there. And in order to access the green sheet, all you'll need to do is click on View Details right under the property address. Again, that is View Details right under the property address at the top of your loop, okay, right under the loop name. Now, once you click View Details, you will see it says Submit to Green Sheet on the very top right of your loop here. All right, so once you are ready, so typically, again, once the property goes under contract, you'll want to go ahead and click Submit to Green Sheet on the very top right. Now, just a heads up, a couple things to note. Once you click Submit to Green Sheet, it typically will pop up your green sheet right away. Now, if you are not seeing the green sheet right away, it's typically because there's a pop-up blocker on. So check for a pop-up blocker. You may see a little window on the very top of your URL bar, a window with an X through it. You'll just need to click that and select Always Allow Pop-ups from .loop. Another error message that is very common is what you noticed on mine here where it says invalid credentials, a Keller Williams eEdge account is required to submit to green sheet. If you do get this error message right here, you will just need to call .loop in order to get your .loop single sign-on cleared and relog into .loop from myKW. Okay, so if you do receive that error message, that number for .loop is 513-257-0558. Again, that's 513-257-0558, and they'll be able to fix that up for you right away. Now, just a quick side note on that before you go off and call .loop. In order for that green sheet feature to work, you will need to go into your .loop account from your myKW home screen specifically. So you will need to do that by clicking on Start My Transactions first to make sure your .loop account is connected to your myKW account. Okay, so that green sheet feature here will not work if you're just signing into .loop.com directly. Just a heads up on that, but typically that'll work perfectly for you. If for any reason you are experiencing trouble accessing your green sheet from .loop, you can always go back to your myKW account, which is where I am on my screen here. And you can simply come up to Technology on the top black toolbar and go to Green Sheet from that drop down here. Okay, it's really just as fast to submit your green sheet from there and perfectly fine. All right, again, that was Technology on the top black toolbar and then Green Sheet from there. Now, just to give you an idea of what that green sheet looks like, okay, so once I go to Technology and then Green Sheet from that black drop down there, it will take you over to a screen that does look like this. Okay, if you're doing that from .loop, it may take you into the green sheet right away. But from here, you can simply click on Create a Green Sheet on the top right of your screen here. I'll ask you a couple preliminary questions, such as, are you the listing agent? So you can answer yes or no here. All right, and it will also ask you if it's KW listing. So you can go ahead and answer that question as well. Once you do, it will take you directly over to your green sheet. So in general, this is what your green sheet will look like. And if you are doing this from Dotloop, it may fill in some of the street information here, saving you a little bit of time, but you will just need to fill out all the red areas here. Okay, anything marked, anything that's red with a red asterisk here that is required to submit your green sheet. But you'll go ahead and fill out each part of the red information and click next section to take you through the green sheet. All right, so it really does walk you through it. Once you click on next section through all of these sections here, you will click Submit to MCA on the very bottom here, which is of course the final step in submitting your green sheet. Right? And once you do that, that is what you'll need to do again to show your office how you're getting paid. Now, if you would like a full video on how to submit a green sheet that goes into detail about all these fields, we do have that. Feel free to reach out to support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we'd be happy to go ahead and send over that tip video on how to submit a green sheet to help you through that. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. If you have any questions about the general process in submitting for review as far as when to do so and your policies for your office, make sure to reach out on your office staff to that to make sure you're doing that correctly. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.